The crypto hedge funds have been discredited. The crypto VC have been discredited. The crypto offshore exchanges that are unregulated have been discredited. The crypto air tokens have been discredited. And they're not just discredited, in the crypto industry, right? I mean, the average person's going to look at this and say, well, how is your token different than FTT and FTX? But they're also discredited with lawmakers, congresspeople, senators, policymakers, lawyers, the mainstream media. This has been it's a massive teaching moment, a massive educational moment.
Michael Saylor, a seasoned business leader and prominent investor in the digital assets field, has left a substantial mark on the crypto industry with over $4 billion invested in Bitcoin. Despite his bullish views on Bitcoin, he recently expressed concern for the future of the digital assets industry as a whole. During a Twitter space chat with a popular crypto influencer, Bitcoin Archive, Saylor highlighted the potential for a distorted perception of the crypto industry and emphasized the need for greater education and regulatory compliance. He discussed the two potential paths forward for the crypto industry, a regressive path where only a limited number of assets are approved for trading, or a progressive path where a registration process is established for digital assets. Saylor believes that the crypto industry is heading towards a more regulated and registered environment, which means that digital assets will have to comply with a set of disclosure rules, such as publishing a board of directors, getting audited by a Big Four accounting firm, and having civil and criminal liability for lying. In his view, of all the different types of assets, Bitcoin is the only one established as a commodity and can be traded without restriction. However, regulators have yet to provide a clear framework for how other digital tokens, securities, currencies, and commodities should be registered and traded. This has made it difficult for digital exchanges to operate in a compliant manner. Saylor's views on the future of cryptocurrency have sparked discussion and debate. Do you think anyone or any company should be allowed to create digital commodities? Let us know in the comment section. Here's more of what Saylor had to say, but before we do that, if you like finance videos, please support our channel by liking the video, subscribing, and dropping your questions or comments below.
Maybe someone can get there, but there aren't that many that'll get there right now. So there's going to be a handful of digital commodities in a properly regulated, registered world. And then the rest is like they're digital securities. So you want to sell an exchange token, or you want to sell a Solana or Cardano or Ripple or whatever these tokens are. Well, you register them as securities, and then the SEC says, well, okay, file these other 100 pages of disclosures and get an auditor and start publishing your audited results. Right, and then trade with and sign up to Sarbanes-Oxley type restrictions, and then you'll have the same securities restrictions as anybody else. And then the last idea is like a digital token, maybe an NFT or something. If Katy Perry wants to sell a Katy Perry token, or Tom Brady wants to sell a Tom Brady token, well, there's nothing unethical about trying to sell your token as long as it was a registered token and you made the proper disclosures, like there's only ever going to be 1 million of them, and then you have to sign up to criminal civil liability if you lie, right? And then you get audited and you have to publish a quarterly result saying, yeah, there's still 1 million and this is what it does, and you've kind of taken yourself public and securitized yourself. So right now, we are sitting in this particular interesting part of the economy, right? The regulatory environment is got a big question mark over it. We are twisting in the wind. The SEC has not published a methodology to register a digital security, a digital token, a digital currency, or a digital commodity. That is the elephant in the room. There is, and so the reasonable, intelligent criticism of the crypto industry, of regulators, is the regulators have not given us a way to register our assets. Because there's no way to register assets, if you read the securities law literally in the United States, there is only one ethical, legal asset that you can buy and trade. and that is Bitcoin. The reason MicroStrategy only has Bitcoin is there is really only one asset which is clearly a commodity and not a security, and therefore that's the only thing you can trade. So if every crypto exchange was to adopt that stance now, they have to delist everything but Bitcoin. And of course, that's why they don't want to do it, because you couldn't trade Tether, you can't even trade Circle, you can't trade anything. They're all securities. They are securities by the Howey test because they're obviously investment contracts, because there is a central issuer. Now, I leave aside this intellectual debate as to whether Litecoin or some other Bitcoin fork or some random decentralized proof of work token is also a commodity. It has not been established, right? The only thing we know that is established is Bitcoin is sufficiently decentralized to be a commodity. So we are twisting in the wind right now. If I'm arguing for the crypto industry, I would say the regulators need to give us a way to register our assets, and then they need to give us a path forward. There are two paths forward, Archie. There's a regressive path forward, and there's a progressive path forward. The regressive path forward, the most conservative, is you can only trade digital commodities, and I'll designate Bitcoin, and I might designate three others. And maybe I'll designate a stable coin issued by a publicly traded company in the US or an FDIC insured bank. Okay. That gets you to about 6 to 12 assets that can be traded on any kind of digital exchange in the world, right? That's the regressive move. That collapses 99.9% of everything. Okay. And that's the worst case if the regulators move hard regressively. The best case, the progressive move, is we're going to give you the ability to submit your stable coin as a digital currency, and you can issue a digital euro, a digital yen, a digital dollar. Tether can register. Everybody else can register. When you go through a registration, we're going to tell you what you got to do to remediate. We might fine you for something you might have done. We might tell you you have to divest yourself of some other business line, or if it's too centrally managed, we might tell you to divest something. This is just like antitrust when you try to merge two companies together and they say you can buy that company, but you can't have their banking branch in the UK because you would have a monopoly on banking in the UK or a monopoly on something. So a path to register would change the world. And let's say you could register a digital commodity. Well, let the 100 most ethical, decentralized digital assets try to register as commodities. 90% of them will probably get knocked down.
Thank you for watching our video. For more finance content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, when in doubt, just hodl.